Melchizedek, king of Salem, brought out bread and wine. Isn't it fascinating that that's what Jesus passed around on Pesach?
This is the covenant.
He was a priest to God Most High. He blessed him and said,
Oh, my brother.
blessed by
Anyway.
God Most High, creator
Anyway.
of heaven and earth, and blessed be God Most High, who has handed over your enemies to you. And Abram gave him a tenth of everything. So here Abraham pays tithes to Melchizedek, where the children of Israel were to pay tithes
Okay, anyways,
to the Levitical priesthood. So Abraham is paying tithes to the celestial high priest here. Then we go into chapter 15, and subsequently we go into chapter 17 and 21, where these covenants and promises are reiterated. We actually have a name change with the promise of Isaac being the seed of Abraham in chapter 17, and the change of the name of Sarai to Sarah, meaning mother of nations, right? So through Isaac, all the nations of the world will be blessed, right? So it's already established.
Okay, so I think
these covenants that Melchizedek is the priest of the Most High God.
I don't have an issue with him being a priest. So far so good. What I read, and I've already been able to establish that in Genesis chapter 15,
Melchizedek be a priest? Let's just think about Abraham. How was it that Melchizedek was a priest of the Most High God? What was he mediating?
He's a priest, right? And I think that the role of a priest is different. 1 second. The role of a priest is different from that of the role of a prophet. If anything, the priest is answerable to the prophet.
I don't care what you think, bro. I care about what you can prove.
So
get the scriptures.
Yes, that is it.
Get the scriptures and show us the distinction between a prophet and a priest.
Okay, let's go to the scriptures. But I think so far so good. I have proven to you sufficiently that Melchizedek didn't mediate.
Like a fool out of yourself.
Based on your scriptures, I read from Genesis chapter 1, Genesis 15, verse 1 to 18, where the covenant was established between Abraham and God. Right. And we didn't have
Melchizedek.
We didn't have or see any mention of Melchizedek mediating anything.
Yeah, this was a direct. Melchizedek is the high priest. Why is he a high priest of the Most High, El Elyon? Why is he the high priest?
I don't know, for whatever reason.
Exactly. You're stuck. Either way you slice it, even if you take Abraham out of the picture, he's still a priest of the Most High God whom Abraham serves. So what would be the meaning of his priesthood if he didn't mediate the promises and the covenants of Yahweh Most High?
We didn't mediate. We saw that the covenant was established.
This very important figure in the Quran.
Okay, so we know he didn't mediate the covenant between Abraham.
He did. He read through all of the covenants, and that's why I said when the law is given to Moses and you have an establishment of the Aaronic priesthood, Yahweh 5 centuries later through David mentions that the Messiah, right, who is Yahweh in the flesh, into his creation, and he would establish this Melchizedekan priesthood is nothing new. That's why Abraham and Sarah are our spiritual mother and father. Just as we see in Isaiah 51, verse 2, and as we see in 1 Peter chapter 3, verse 6.
So it says the prophets, this is from a Christian website, by the way, feedingonchrist.org. It says the prophets officiate from God to man, right? This is the prophet from God to man. God to man. He has a direct access to God. Represents God with man, right? The prophets, they officiate from God to man, and represent God with man. The priest officiates from man to God, represents man with God. So you see the opposite. You can see from the hierarchy that the placed above the priest. Above the priest.
Oh, the
So, as a prophet, Abraham being a prophet, he didn't need any man to mediate between him and God for a covenant. Because as we've read from Genesis
Once
chapter
again,
15, verse 1,
you keep
through to
talking
18.
about. You keep talking.
You asked for
Don't work. Hey,
scriptural proof.
hang
I
on,
gave you
hang on.
scriptural proof.
Don't
What
worship
else do you need,
Allah
bro?
anymore because Allah does not need worship.
Bro, you asked for scriptural proof. I gave you
Okay,
scriptural proof.
okay, but you
I
didn't
read
give
through
me
Genesis
scriptural proof.
chapter 15.
Did he give us scriptural proof or did he give us a website?
No. I'm talking about the scriptural proof that
No.
Abraham.
What chapter? What
That
verse?
Melchizedek didn't.
What
Melchizedek
chapter?
didn't.
What chapter? What verse?
Genesis chapter 15, verse 1.
That a priest officiates from man to God. It's vertical.
Yes, from man to God.
From bottom to top.
While the
Then
prophet
you
is
said
from God
the
to
prophet
man.
is from top to bottom. I think that's what you said.
Yes, top to bottom.
You didn't provide any scripture for that.
Okay, and since I'm reading from your website, let's go. I think they'll
It's
provide
not
me
my
proof.
website.
When I mean your website, I mean
Jeremiah, the prophet Jeremiah, what tribe was he from?
I don't know.
I'm just going to debunk you with a few prophets. Jeremiah, what tribe was he from?
I don't know. I don't.
Okay, he was a Levite. He was a priest. Ezekiel, what tribe was he from?
So for example, okay, look.
Oh, okay, so you said if you're a prophet, then you don't need a priest.
1 second.
No. So how is it that you have a prophet and a priest? How can you have a person?
No.
Right. So
I'm saying
you're debunked because
no.
Let me just tell you the truth about your position. The truth of your position is that your prophet and your religion know nothing about the important figure of Melchizedek. Right? They don't know anything about his eternal priesthood. You don't have a covenant in Islam, and you don't have a mediator of that covenant.
So Melchizedek is the eternal priest.
What you're trying to do is you're making a fool out of yourself by going into the previous scriptures by claiming that, well, they didn't need, Abraham didn't need a mediator. So therefore, even though Melchizedek was the mediator, we can just eliminate him from being the mediator because we don't think that Abraham needed one.
No. One second. So you just mentioned that Melchizedek is the eternal priest. And
No,
then
I didn't
before
go to the prophecy in Psalm 110, verses 1 through 4.
Oh, good. I accept that it is there, right? Okay. So Jesus is the eternal priest. Melchizedek is an eternal priest. Jesus is not like Melchizedek. Melchizedek is not Jesus. So we have two eternal priests who have they are both priests and kings. This is what you just said. We have two eternal priests.
Nowhere does it.
We have two eternal priests.
Nowhere does it say that Melchizedek is the eternal priest. It says that the Messiah will be a priest forever in order. The thing that you have to focus on is the order, Devra.
Anyway, my work here is done.
Which is priest and king. That's the order.
I've been able to sufficiently substantiate my points, and my work here is done. I will follow your life, and whenever you come up,
you're fooling yourself.
Whenever you come up,
you're lying to yourself. You're fooling yourself.
Whenever you come up, we had a very nice conversation.
You're used to that because you've been doing that the whole time you've been a Muslim.
Bro, we had a very nice conversation. Let's end it on a very nice.
Yeah, we had.
You've been a very good
you engaged in deception and all of that stuff, and then you just got out of prayer.
No, bro. So again, you can see it as deception. I don't see it as deception, right? Well,
It's
so far so good. I think the conversation has been
you have a Melchizedek priesthood that your prophet knows nothing about. Yet he was told to follow the religion of Abraham. You also have you don't have anywhere in the Quran circumcision ever mentioned. It's never mentioned.
Yeah.
So
when I come up next,
from a theological standpoint, it's crystal clear why Christians and Jews are reluctant to believe that Muhammad is a prophet, because he fails.
And Jews are reluctant to believe that Jesus is a son of God,
Yeah, but
the prophet or Messiah. So
we knew they were going to do that because the prophecy said they were going to do it.
We knew that you were going to deny Abraham. Muhammad as well, so we can just say the same thing, bro.
What prophecy says that Jews and Christians were going to reject Muhammad?
And anyway, those
are not prophecies.
Right. Again, you see secular reasoning.
Prophecies would have to precede the time of Christians.
It doesn't necessarily follow.
No, it does. because then we could properly be indicted somebody for something that comes over half a millennium after after Christianity.
Okay, so again, for the claims you made about the circumcision not being in the Quran, I'll have to do research. I'm already following you. Whenever you go live next, we're going to have a discussion on that, and also we are going to have a proper discussion on I don't know why Paul the liar is being compared to the prophet, but anyways, we'll see what we can do about that. But you've been I think you've been the best,
the bigger liar, Muhammad.
you've been the best Christian host I've ever joined very
I'm just like them. I'm just like them. I'm the worst of all creatures, sir. 98.
No, you're not like them, bro. To be honest, you're not like them.
I'm the worst of all creatures. I believe the same thing they believe about the Quran, Muhammad, and
sorry, bro.
Don't get it twisted, right?
You've been gracious. You've allowed me to say what I wanted to say. You've allowed me to have a say, or to say my points, even though we disagree on almost everything. But that is what it means to have a conversation on these things. These are very sensitive topics. We both can agree on this because it has to do with our personal beliefs. So we both can agree that they are very sensitive topics for either one of us. But we've so far been respectful, and I admire you for that. I hope that whenever I come here, I will have the same accord as I did today. And I normally don't do lives. I don't know. It takes a lot of strength to host lives. I give it to you guys. I don't have the spirit to.
All right. Well, I'm following you back. So hopefully, Im Yirtzeh Hashem, which is Hebrew for "if God wills, we'll talk again."
Inshallah, if God wills. So, yeah, I'll join you whenever you come live next, bro.
All right, bro.
So thank you very much for having me.
Jesus is the way, man, the truth, and the life. Nobody gets to the Father except through Him.
Yeah, we can also have that discussion, but later on, bro.
Yeah, there is no discussion. It's already etched and written, and so it is. Jesus has spoken.
Yeah, okay.
Melchizedek, king of Salem, brought out bread and wine. Isn't it fascinating that that's what Jesus passed around Pesach.
This is the covenant.
So why? What would be
So
the
he didn't
need of
mediate.
his priesthood if he didn't mediate the promises and the covenants of Yahweh Most High?